Hello there. It's nice to see you again, once again. Every year at this time, as Thanksgiving approaches and you start to see the grocery store fill up with wonderful fruits and nuts and things in preparation for Thanksgiving, I think of the artist who loved to paint apples. His name was Cezanne. It's such a wonderful name. Can you say that? Cezanne. And he loved the shapes of fruit. He painted other things as well, but what he loved to paint was still lifes. That's when you take a bowl or a plate and you arrange your fruit nicely in it. And maybe you add some cloth around it and then you make a picture. So today, I'm going to show you how to make a Cezanne picture, just like these students did. They did a wonderful job. We're going to use shape and a nice dark outline and make a beautiful picture for your family. Stay tuned and I'll show you how. For this project, you're going to need your sketchbook, some paints. They could be watercolor paints like these, you might have those at home, or the paints that I gave you. You will also need a Sharpie marker, a paintbrush, and a white oil pastel from the set of oil pastels that you have at home. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is open to our sketchbook to a clean page. And I think I am going to put my sketchbook on the side so I have lots of room. You can do it either way you like. Open my sketchbook, put it down. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to start with is I am going to draw the apple. And notice the shape of the apple. It's not perfectly round, and it's got a little place that indents. I think I will draw 3 apples. I'm going to get out my Sharpie marker. Now, you may have noticed in the video that I broke my wrist. So today, I am training myself to draw with my left hand. And I am a right-handed person, so this is challenging, but it's kind of fun to learn something new. So I'm going to start with my apple. And if it's not perfect, I'm not going to worry about it. There you go. 1 apple. I'll leave a little space. Do another apple. There's another one. And then I'm going to make one behind by doing the hop over trick. Now the apple has a little place for the stem. I'm going to draw a little U and a curvy stem and a little U and a curvy stem. And I have my 3 apples. Now I need a plate for them to go on. If you want, you could find a circle and trace it, but I'm just going to draw it freehand. And if it's a little wobbly, that'll be just fine. I am training my left hand and it's not too bad. Oh, it came out a little funny right there. So what I'm going to do is pretend like that's a happy accident, and I'm just going to make that line continue right around like that. And everyone will think I meant to do it. Okay, I have my 3 apples. Before I get out my paints and start painting, you know what? I'm going to write the name of the artist on it because I love that name. I'm going to call this picture Cezanne's Apples. C-E-Z-A-N-N-E. Cezanne's Apples. You can add that if you want, but you don't have to. Okay. It's almost time to paint, but I am going to do one little detail first. It's kind of fun to put a pattern on your tablecloth. I'm going to have my apples on a colored plate and a tablecloth. So I am going to put a pattern in my tablecloth, but I'm going to do it with white. So you probably won't see it in the picture, but the magic will show up later. I have to press down really hard. I think I'll make stripes. I'm going to do the hop over trick here. Stripe here. I'm pressing down really, really hard because if I don't press down hard, it won't work. When we're all done, we're going to go put paint over the top and see what happens. And you can make any pattern you wanted. Okay, so we're going to get out our paints and get started. I know I'm going to need some yellow, so I'll get that wet. Some red. Some green, maybe I'll do some blue for the plate. I might want some black for the shadows. And you know what? Maybe I'll want some white. So I'm getting them all wet today. I'm going to put them over here on the side. I am going to start with my lightest color first. I think I'm going to start with the yellow. And I'm just going to put a little color on the apples. Did you notice in Cezanne's picture how he had different colors on the apples? It wasn't just one shade of red. He had some yellow on it, some green on it. So I'm going to dab a little yellow on my apples. I think I'll put some yellow back here. And I think that apple in the background might be a green apple. So I am going to put a little green over the top. And you notice how the green mixes with the yellow and it just becomes a pretty shade of green. Let's dab on some red. If I want it bright, I have to go over it more times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's nice. I'm dabbing and blending. If it goes a little out of the line, I'm not going to worry too much. There we go. Ooh, I like how a little bit of the yellow shows still. I'm leaving that so I can see it. Maybe I'll even dab a little more yellow on top and see what happens. I think this one will be a reddish apple over here too. Make sure you leave a little of that yellow showing. I might even leave a little white showing so it looks like the light is shining on it. See one spot where I missed some green. I'll see if I can go back and put it in. Oh, I'm liking that. Next, I think I'll do my plate. And I don't want to do a red plate because it wouldn't show up with the red apples. So I will pick a different color, which is blue. I've stroked my brush over the blue about 5 times. I'm going to go back, gentle around the edges, and then I brush away from my apples because I don't want to brush blue paint all over my apples. You wouldn't be able to see them anymore. Okay, around I go. That's looking pretty good. And once I fill in my plate, I'm going to do a special little trick. I am going to give those apples some shadow. So when the apples are on the plate, right under the apples, it's a little bit darker and in shadow. So do you want to see how we're going to do that? I think I will take a little bit of black paint, or you could use dark blue, and just paint a little shadow right under the apples, and it blends in. In fact, maybe I'll give a little shadow to the apples too, with a little curve. How about that? Okay, so now it's time for me to show you the trick of the background. Remember we said there was a pattern in the tablecloth? I think I will make my tablecloth yellow, but with a little red in it, so it's a yellow, a bright, bright yellow. And when I go over my lines, do you notice what happens? You see the stripes. Stay tuned while I finish this. I'll be right back. So when you're all done and you've painted right to the outline, it's fun to go back and take a bit of a dark color and maybe add a shadow under your plate. Have fun. Don't forget to paint right to the edges of your paper. And when you're all done with your beautiful Cezanne still life, will you go to add response and take a picture of it and send it to me? I can't wait to see it. Bye-bye.